So the next part of the class is actually going to be our challenge for this week too. So I'm posting a new challenge every Tuesday, and this one is called Smart Moves for Your Feet. And it's really the purpose of it, or one of the benefits of it, is that it just gets your attention down into your feet. So you're coordinating the movements and you're getting all those sensations and all that information from your feet. So this is the simplest way to do it. Your feet are a little wider than your shoulders, and you're going to shift your weight. This one's kind of like I'm leading a dance. You shift your weight to the right, and then you're going to pivot on your left heel. So your left toe points at about a 45, and then you shift your weight back on the left foot and pivot on your right heel. And then your weight goes forward on that right foot, and then you pivot on your left toe so that your feet are parallel and you sink. So this is the finishing posture. And everybody can do this. This is good just to stand like this to energize your legs, and it opens up the hips. But what the smart moves are for is to really get the coordination so that when you're doing these movements in your daily life, you're doing them with perfect balance. So now to shift, you're going to lean your weight forward and you pivot on your left toe, and then you shift your weight back to the left foot and you pick up your right toe, pivot on your left heel, so your toe points, and then shift your weight back to the right foot, pivot on your left heel, and then lean forward onto your left foot, pick up your right heel so your feet are parallel, and don't be afraid to actually pick up your foot. You can move your feet around, and then you sink, and you're in that little mini lunging posture, just standing right there. And there's so much that can evolve from this basic movement, but we're going to keep working on the transition. So you shift your weight forward because it's good. Even just standing like this, get your legs burning a little bit. So that's good. So lean into the left foot, pivot on your right toe, and then shift your weight back to the right foot. Pivot on your left heel, pick up the left toe, and then pivot. Turn. It gives quite a big turn, maybe straight forward or a little inside. Then shift your weight back to the left foot, pick up your right heel, and then sink into the right foot. Pick up the left foot and sink. It is a little easier to just allow yourself to pick up your feet, but then one way to check this is you bring that right foot forward, and it should be just about shoulder width apart. So you're in your lunge like this, and if you bring that rear foot forward, it's just about shoulder width, and that'll keep you balanced. So we'll start this again from the beginning. So feet a little wider than shoulders, and you shift to your right, pivot on your left heel, shift back to your left foot, pivot on your right heel, shift forward on the right foot, pick up the left heel, so you're pivoting on that left toe, and then sink, and then you lean onto the right foot. So your weight's never on the foot that's pivoting. So you pivot on the left toe, shift back to the left leg, and now your weight's on the left, so you pivot on the right, shift your weight back to the right, pivot on the left, and again you can pick it up if you want to, and then shift your weight, and then your weight's on the left, you can pick up the right, and then sink. And then hold it there, and bounce a little bit, feel balanced in your posture. Let's go back and forth a few more, and you can go over this one time and again until you get this movement and you don't need to think about it anymore. So we'll just go back and forth. Lean into the left foot, pivot on the right toe, shift your weight back to the right leg, pivot on the left heel, shift back to the left leg, pivot on your right heel, shift your weight to the right foot, pick up your left heel and pivot on the left toe, and then sink. Okay, and then we shift, lean into the right foot, pick up the left heel and pivot on the left toe, shift back to the left, pivot on the right heel, shift your weight back to the right leg, pivot on the left heel, and then shift your weight to the left leg, and you can pick up the right heel, pivot on the toe, and sink. Once more, back and forth. Shift forward, pivot on the right toe, shift your weight to the right, pivot on the left heel, shift your weight to the other leg, pivot on the right heel, and then shift forward, pick up your left heel, pivot on the left toe, and sink. And this is a lot easier once you've got it memorized and you build those synapses and you move a little faster. It'll become easier. So shift your weight forward, pivot on the left toe, shift your weight to the left, pivot on your right heel, shift your weight back, pivot on the left heel, shift your weight forward, pick up the right heel. Okay, once more, back and forth. So you don't need to press stop and rewind when you're learning this. Lean forward, pivot on your right toe, shift your weight to the right, pivot on your left heel, shift your weight to the left, pivot on your right heel, weight to the right foot, pick up your left heel and pivot on your left toe, and then sink. And then once more, lean into the right foot, pick up your left heel, pivot on the left toe, shift your weight to the left and pivot on the right heel, shift your weight back to the right, pivot on your left heel, shift your weight forward, pick up your right heel, pivot on the right toe, and then sink. All right. And then you can come back to the center and take a couple breaths. So reach your hands out, reach up, breathe in, and then exhale. So we're building these connections with our feet. Now reach out again, inhale, and exhale, and bend the knees. So there's all different kinds of movements we can do with our hands in coordination with the moves with your feet. And so I'll just show you the most basic one, and then in the days ahead, I'll share some more. So when we're shifting, the first thing I like to do is just allow your hands to make like an orbit, like a ring around. If you imagine your dantian as a planet, your hands make a ring around the dantian when you're doing this, and this really helps center your attention and your breath to your dantian. So your feet shoulder width will shift to the right and pivot on the left. Okay, and so as you sink on this one, your hands, the front hand's going to come to your belly, and the opposite hand's going to come to your back. This is too complicated for my brain to reverse all of the left and right. So you'll have to figure this one out on your own. I'll do it once or twice here. So we're bent, hands on the dantian, our mind's in that center. And just be grateful if your legs are burning right now, because the more you practice this, that burn will go away. So then you shift forward, your hands come apart, and you kind of swing your hands around that orbit. And then sink. And the hands go to the belly. Okay, so you shift your weight forward, the hands come out, and then you push off, and those hands make that orbit, and then you sink. Okay, and then we lean in, the hands come out, and then push off, spin, and then as you get this, you inhale as you sink. So you inhale, and then as you push off, you breathe out, sink and inhale, And then push off and breathe out. Sink and breathe in. Expand and push off, breathe out. One more time. Sink and inhale. And then push off and spin, breathing out. And we can come back to the center. Bend the knees, let your hands float up, and just feel your lower abdomen. Feel the dantian, keep the knees bent. Lower back relaxed, feel your feet, feel the hips and the knees. Inhale, and then exhale. All right.